There's a little secret that successful entrepreneurs may not tell you. Come closer, and this is it. If you can be consistent, even if it's not the best content, not the best idea, you can still rock. Let's discuss. Welcome to the Prolific You podcast, episode 15. And today I'll be talking about you being consistent is actually the best thing that's going to happen to your business. Why you should be consistent, because that is what the successful entrepreneurs may not get to tell you. So it doesn't matter how bad your idea is, it works. Have you gone online and you see people that you are better than, that you just know, oh, this idea doesn't sound nice, this whatever the person is saying is not going to work. But because of how confident the person is and how consistent the person is putting out his idea out there, people are going to buy into the idea. Look at what's happening around the world. Media, the mainstream media, when they put out content and they put out whatever lies that they put on, over time, because of how consistent they are, telling the lies over time, over and over again, before you know it, it becomes a reality. It becomes what people accept as truth and as facts. So because they are consistent putting that stuff out there, it becomes what you accept. Except if you have a different information, but that you consistently listen to, or you consistently digest, or you consistently subscribe to, or you actually subscribe to. But because they're out there putting out this content, even if the idea is not the best, they make it work. And they sell whatever it is that they want to sell to you. So consistency is key in doing whatever it is that you want to do, especially when you come to the online business, especially when you're online and marketing and sales. Consistency is key. So if you're listening to this right now on the podcast, and maybe you're listening to on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to, I want you to become consistent in whatever you're doing. If you're watching on Facebook or right now you're watching on YouTube, I want you to look at the things that you're doing. Ask yourself, did I just post yesterday and say, oh, I'm tired, and after that I get to post 5 days later? Yesterday I was scrolling and I saw a suggested group or suggested page that Facebook suggested to me, and I went and I saw the last time the guy posted was in 2020. So if I want to do business with someone like that, and I saw, oh, the last time you posted something was 3 years ago, why would I want to do business with you? It doesn't matter how beautiful your idea is. So you go online, you see someone that doesn't have the best idea, is always talking on TikTok or talking on Facebook or YouTube or has a podcast. But because the person is consistent, so you keep saying the same thing, you keep talking about your idea, you keep saying all that you need to say, and you're consistent about saying what you want to say, all of a sudden people start buying into your idea, start buying into your thoughts. So you become regular, you're in the mind, you're in their face, and all of a sudden when you have something to sell to them, they subscribe to you, they buy from you because you're consistent. And like I posted, there's a post I did recently, which I got from Femi Jacobs years ago. I posted that stuff years ago, maybe 2012, and it resurfaced. You know how Facebook would bring back your old posts and your memory. So I posted it again. I said, keep doing what you're doing. Be consistent on what you're doing, because someday you meet someone or a group of people and they start the conversation with, we've been watching you. We've been watching you. We've been watching you do what you're doing. We've been watching you put out content. We've been watching you being consistent. We've been watching you share your idea. We've been watching you doing what you're doing, believing so much in what you're doing that right now we want to do business with you. But we're watching you because we want to know if you have the staying power. If you can actually stay for long and do the things that you believe that you're doing and act your belief. So that is why consistency is key. So you can't just put out content today and say, oh, I didn't get the amount of people, I didn't get the amount of views that I wanted to gather, and I'm not going to post. No. You post whether it's 0 view, you come out, you post again, whether it's 1 view, You post whatever is it that you see, doesn't matter because you're putting yourself out there, you're consistent. It's like when you go to the gym. At the first time that you go to the gym, it's difficult. But what happens? You keep going to the gym and you start building your biceps and you start straining the muscles and the muscles start tearing. And before you know it, they start forming back together. And you know it, you now have the biceps and the chest. And I mean, you look so good. But what happened? What made that possible? That's because of your consistency. Because of how consistent you are. As an online entrepreneur, I love opening that email. Whenever she sends a mail, I open it. That's Tolu Michaels. Beautiful. I mean, she knows how to write emails that you just want to read it over. Sometimes I go and I read back her mails. I've not bought anything from her. But she's an amazing person. And she's consistent. That even when she has nothing to talk about, nothing to write an email about, she will tell you, I have nothing to say. But I need to do this, and I can't even repeat the same thing that I've told you a couple of weeks ago, a couple of months ago. But because you need to be consistent at the things that you do. So you have to be consistent, even when there's nobody looking at you right now. Be consistent, and before you know it, not long, you start reaping the rewards for the things that you're doing right now. But you just have to stay on it, have that staying power, have that stickability. So you told yourself you're going to start a podcast. It's 5 years and right now you've not started. You have to start and be consistent. So you have a podcast, you have one, you post your videos on YouTube and you don't gather the views that you think that you need to have. Who told you that you should have that? Who told you? Where did you get the idea from that when you post that video, it will go viral? Oh, the video didn't go viral. All of a sudden, man, this thing is his work. It doesn't work. I mean, it takes work. Yes, it takes work. And it takes consistency. You have to be consistent. Jesus didn't go out and he just preached the gospel just once. He was consistent about the gospel. Paul said, yes, this place is difficult for us to go into, right? I will go in. Even if I have to die, I will do it. Because necessity is laid upon me. So if you come and you take your business that, yes, necessity is laid upon me. I need to provide free content out there so that people will get what I'm talking about and buy into this idea that I have and listen to me and become the best version of themselves. You're not doing it for yourself. You're doing it for the person that you want. My podcast right now that I have is not because of me. It's because of you. Because I know if I change you, if I do something, if I say something to you and your life is changed, you're in turn going to change someone as well. So that's the rippling effect. So it ripples. So it's not just, it started from me, then from to you, then from you to someone else. And before you know it, we're changing the world one person at a time. But you have to be consistent. Consistency is key. Consistency is not something that you do today and say, okay, tomorrow I'm not going to do it. I mean, I'm embarked on something, but I need to create content for 105 days. The idea was to go live for 105 days. But I said, okay, do you know what? I want to go live for 105 days and turn it into a podcast episode, into a podcast. So I've been going live for what? 15 days. And so I have 15 episodes of my podcast. How many podcasts start and after 10 episodes you're done? So in 105 days, I will end up having 105 podcast episodes. What probably will take some people a year or 2 years to do, I'm going to get it done in 105 days because of me beating my chest and saying, Maximus, you have to be consistent. You need to show up for the people that you want to help. I need to show up for you that I want to help. So you watching me right now on YouTube, I am doing this for you. So you need to be consistent in all that. I know you've been saying, Maximus, you're talking about consistency. What is this consistency? Yes. When you go to the market, you see the woman there, you may not end up buying for the first time that you get to see the woman. But you go out the next day and you go out maybe some other time. And one day you say, let me patronize this woman. The woman is there, perpetually being there, selling that product. One day you will patronize her. You may not want this store, but you'll be like, this woman that I'm seeing every day here, let me just buy this thing from her. But imagine if the woman comes out today and says, nobody bought today, the sales today, it's not as wonderful as I predicted. I'm not going to go to the market tomorrow to sell. She's not going to make money that she wants to make. So when you come out and you put out your free content, what you're doing, you're teaching, you're helping, you're telling people about the ideas that you have on the inside of you. So you are giving of yourself. And love is a consistent thing. You can't just give today and say, no, I'm not giving tomorrow. It is something you start. When you wanted that girl and you go out and you take her on a date, you don't just end there. Even after you've gotten her married, even if you've gotten married to her, even if you've gotten her as your wife, you need to take her out as well. I used to have issues with my wife. We used to have issues when, two alpha people getting married, you understand? So it used to be difficult when we talk and I'm like, I want this to work. So what did I do to get this beautiful, amazing woman into my life? I used to take her out. We used to go out and buy things. We need to eat out together. Okay, we used to do this together. When I used to take pictures, she used to accompany me to go take pictures, even though she wasn't a photographer and she had no idea of how to become a photographer. But we were almost always together, doing things together. So what did I do? I started taking my wife out on a date. I started taking her out on dates. So we go out, the keys are indoor, we go out and we spend time together. Rekindling that. So we were married, but we need to start acting as if we're dating, because that is one thing. Nobody wants to grow old. A man is 40, 50, still wants to feel as if he's in his 20s. A woman in his 30, 40, 50, 60 still wants to feel as if she's in her 20s. And what do 20-year-olds do? They go out on dates. You go out to see amazing places. You want to hold hands together. That is what you need to do. But you have to be consistent. If you're not consistent doing the things that you ought to do to build the marriage, then you'll be amazed at what's going to happen. Before you know it, you say, we have a divorce. The reason is you can't have two captains in a ship. So this one is going left and this one is going right. But when you come together and you have this conversation and not just talking at each other, but you're having a conversation. So the same thing, that's what I do when I create this podcast. I'm talking and I give you the avenue for you to send me whatever is it that you want me to talk about in the comments. So I'll tell you, if you have something, if you have this, drop it in the comments or send me a DM on Instagram, Maximus Christopher. Okay? So, in concluding this podcast episode, you just have to be consistent in all that you do. Come out there, be consistent. Consistently put yourself out there. Consistently record your podcast. Consistently put out a video. Consistently write a blog post. Even if you don't feel like you have to do it, but do it consistently. So you can set up a time and say, okay, every day I'll be doing this at this exact time. So you hold yourself accountable. When I started this podcast, I said, I want you guys to hold me accountable. So in our group, where because I'm not the only one going live for 105 days, we started, I think we were 10. I think right now we're 5. You understand? We're 5, just being consistent. So one of the members that went through my content and he said, Maximus, you just have to keep doing it because you have told your audience that this is what you want to do. I had to put it out there so that you hold me accountable. So if you don't get to receive the podcast, you say like, hey, Maximus, you didn't go live today. What's happening? So it doesn't matter every day. So it might be 10 p.m. I go live. Yesterday, I went live, about after 10 p.m. Do I have other things doing? Of course, right now after shooting this, I'm going out. I have other business to attend to. But it's what I call self-integrity. It causes you to become consistent in all that you do. And before you know it, it builds up compound interest. You keep being consistent, putting out the content out there. Compound interest, it compounds, and before you know it, you have content that you can refer people back to. So, oh, you have this question, go and listen to episode 20, go and listen to episode 5. So now you have content, and before you know it, you can sit back and lay back and say, okay, these are the things that I need to do right now. So you know what to do, but you have to be consistent in doing what you need to do. So drop me a comment. If you're watching this right now on YouTube or on Facebook, drop me a comment and tell me what is it that you want to be consistent about and what's holding you back. What's holding you back in being consistent. If you're listening to this on the podcast, please send me a message. Send me a DM at Maximus Christopher on Instagram and tell me what you are consistently doing right now that you know is going to help you build your business. Because this is a secret that these guys won't tell you, but I'm telling you. All right. So I'll see you tomorrow. Until tomorrow, please have a wonderful day and please impact the world with the investment of your personality. God bless you. I love you.